Hey, what's up? It's Michael. Yo, welcome to the Yo Show. I appreciate you guys checking it out. First of all, I wanted to start with my comedy special. I never thought when we started this YouTube channel, we had 3,000 people 2 months ago. Comedy special dropped. Now we have over 80,000 people, that have subscribed. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're watching everything I'm putting out from clips to the stand-up comedy special, which you can still do that if you haven't. That has over 190,000 views. But next, man, I'm so excited. I have an awesome podcast. You're going to love this one. We go deep on a lot of things with Erik Griffin, one of the best stand-up comedians out there. So, yeah, I mean, he's been in movies. He's been in TV shows. He was on The Workaholics. He's on a bunch of big podcasts. So it's definitely, if you don't know Erik Griffin, it is time to get to know him right now. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Here we go. Erik Griffin, how are you, my friend?
Good. How are you?
You know what?
I haven't seen you in a second.
I know. I've been just so tired. You know, it's yes. And I know every person says this. I love it. It's the most rewarding thing ever. But it makes you tired, man. You're tired all the time.
You know, I don't know if it's necessarily the kids that make you tired. It's so much as it's the other things that you still want to do that makes you tired.
Yeah, well, I like working too. Because,
right, exactly. Yeah, there you go.
I mean,
that's what makes you tired. You know what I'm saying? I think we need to stop saying let's say you didn't have kids, you'd be doing all this stuff that you do, and then
I wouldn't be. No. See, that's wrong, Eric. Because you know what's funny is I thought I was so busy before I had kids, and then I realized I was just a different busy. Yeah. You know, but that different.
I'm saying don't blame your family and your kids.
I'm not
blame your job. You over here like, ooh, I'm so tired. These kids running me ragged. No, it's all your podcasting and your comedy and all that. That's what's running you ragged. Because what's your top priority? What's your top priority?
My family.
Okay, so then they're not the ones that making you tired. It's all the other stuff you're doing for your family.
But you got to pay the bills, Eric. You got to pay the bills, bro.
Hey, stop your lavish lifestyle. What kind of water is that you got? That could have been tap water right there.
This is Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's. Somebody fancy. Somebody real. Oh, you rich. You at Trader Joe's, huh? Okay.
Trader Joe's is not rich. Come on, let's be serious now. That's normal. All right. I want to jump into some comedy stuff. And I'm not going to ask you about the whole Bobby Lee and Shop thing. I just want to know something else. Yeah. Are we coming to a point, or has it all, because you've been in the game a lot longer than me, are we coming to the point where it's going to be very cliquish, like super cliquish?
Coming to the point. I think it's been like that.
It's been like that. See, this is interesting for me because I haven't been on that side. You know what I mean?
I think it's always been cliquish. If you think about it, just think about comic cliquishness. It's always been like that. You know, people that are on TV shows versus the guys that are just coming up versus the guys that, sell out theaters and arenas versus the guys. Now it's like the podcasters versus it's always been cliquish. It's always been like high school.
Okay. See, I've never experienced that
because you're not at the clubs a lot. That's why.
Yeah. Well, I'm not in those.
You fancy with your radio and all that stuff. You know what I mean? You're always on the road and stuff. You know what I mean? You're always at Trader Joe's. You know what I mean?
Has it? I mean, I would assume you're in every clique though.
Because not really. No, I don't. I feel left out on a lot of things too, man. You know, it's like it is what it is. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's all the grass is greener for everybody. You know what I mean? It's like there's always some kind of like thing where you feel left out.
But I mean, come on now. You on Bobby Lee's podcast? You on?
I know. I do a lot of podcasts. I mean,
what are you talking about when you say you're left out? Are you talking about like?
Yeah, I'm saying there's always a moment where we all feel left out. You know, just like even if it's not true, your perception could be like, oh, I'm not in that clique or I'm not in that clique. And there's cliques. You got the Rogan people. Bert, Tom. These people that that came up because of him, and that he everybody's kind of tribal and cliquish.
Yeah, I feel you remember the last time I did your podcast a long time ago. You go, yo, you're kind of mad you're not in any clique, because I didn't have a class to come up in.
Because you came up, because you actually do have a class. Your class is these non-traditional people that came into stand-up. That's your class. You're in with those people like, it's like TikTokers and influencers and people that were like doing other mediums. And then they were like, ooh, I kind of like stand-up comedy. Let me go check this out. That's your class. And so, but you're old enough to want to be a part of like the people in your age group that came up this sort of traditional way, and they kind of like, and you kind of feel the same way. Like you that's what I'm saying. It's kind of self-hating because it's like, hey, I work hard. I'm a stand up just like you. And then but it's like, but yeah, I didn't come up that way. I didn't go to open mics, and I didn't like have to struggle, and I didn't have to do all these things. And it's like that's that class of people that are doing that, and it's okay because now you cut to 5-6 years later, nobody cares about that anymore. It's kind of like I say with modeling.
You don't really feel like that's gone away. You think that's gone away where people?
Oh yeah. I'll give you an example. Maybe 5 to 10 years ago, we used to like clown Instagram models. We used to clown them. We used to be like, oh, Instagram model. Now they're the only models. You understand?
Wow, that's deep, bro.
Okay, so like when you see a chick with like 1 million followers. She got 1 million followers, and she's got, every other post is like, bang drink and like,
Trader Joe's water.
Right. Because they're making so much money. There's so many of these like influencer advertising marketing firms that help these kind of people out. Like those are the people that make money now. So they're actually the models now. So in the same way, I remember I had Amanda Cerny on my podcast. She got 25 million followers.
I love her. Yeah.
Man, I've known her for years. So the thing is, like, even with her story, she remembers coming up trying to be on TV and wanting to go to shows, and then sort of asking, hey, how many views does this television show get? And it was like, 20 million less than she gets on one of her videos. So like this wanting of those people to be in movies and television because that was the traditional entertainment, it went away. Now they're just doing their own thing. They got, athletic stuff. They got on Instagram. They're using their YouTube, and they're making way more money than most actors. You know what I mean? And it's accepted now. So I think the same thing is going on with stand-up. The only thing about stand-up is you can't hide when you get on stage.
And you got to put in the work. And we've talked about this before.
Yeah. So that's all that it is.
It's about stage time in comedy, because if you don't put in the work, man, it shows. It shows.
I know, but what I'm saying to you is like, don't be, weirded out that you're not a part of the clique, because you just, you're on your own path. That's all that it is. You're on your own path,
and we all are. It's just, and I'm being a hypocrite in what I'm saying. I care what people think, but I don't care what people think. But I'm working hard, especially with this new special, to get respect from comedians that have reached, their ultimate goal or continue to do it. I want
that's never going to go away.
Okay.
It's never going to go away, because it's like the art part of it.
Yeah.
There's an artist part of it that a sort of like purist stand up. You're always going to want validation from the brotherhood.
Yes. Yes.
And it doesn't matter what level you're at. I remember one day I was at the Comedy Store, and this was like a few years ago, and I've told this story before, but it doesn't matter. So I'm in the OR. I'm doing my set. I know I'm having a great set. When I get off stage, I'm standing with Fahim and this other comic, Nick, and they're standing like how it is on screen, And then Chris Rock walks out the OR. He looks around, he sees me, and he beelines over to me, and he starts telling me like, "Man, you were funny," and he starts talking to me like, and I'm just in shock. These two guys are in shock. He don't even say nothing to them. He just says right to me, and he's just like, "You're funny, boo boo. Who are you? What's your name?" And we just start. He had this whole big glowing thing for me, right? Then he walks away, and then I look over at them, and then I'm just like, "What?" But anyway, my point is this: that validation from him went more for me than any TV show I've done, any like, you know what I'm saying? Even getting past at the Comedy Store, like anything. It was just like, so that feeling you have never goes away. You always want like the validation of like your peers. You want like, even if it's like not even someone at that level, you just want like, someone even that you respect and think it's funny, just to be like, yo, really like that joke you did or whatever. And there's something about that we always want, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it is what it is. So, what I'm saying is just embrace that. It's okay to be like, it's okay to be the little brother wanting your big brother to be like, you're doing good. So it's like, you can't have this double edge of being like, well, I don't want to feel thirsty.
No, exactly.
But it's like, what I'm saying to you is like, feel thirsty, because what it is like it pushes you. It makes you like, hey, I'm going to keep working hard until these mofos tell me I think you're funny.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest compliment I got on my special so far is Bert Kreischer, like a week before it came out, hit me up at 5 a.m. and was like, yo, this is one that's going to get you to another level. What that another level could be, being in more clubs and having more tickets sold. But to hear from Bert that was so excited about the special and thought it was great, like you said, it goes far. It goes really, really far. And for a person like me that's trying to come up still, it just means a lot. It just means a lot. So I think any comic that's in a position where just those little words, man, mean so much to people coming up. And they should always spread that love.
Yeah. But it's like, it can't be forced. It can't be like, you just do what you do and you move on with it. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing too, that's like the irony of it, like, what would you rather have? You rather have like this, like, glowing respect of your peers, or selling out and making a bunch of money, having a really lucrative career? I know you want both. We all want both. But what I'm saying is, if you had to pick one or the other,
money, because the comics respect don't pay your bills, and
sure don't.
I learned this very, very early. Where, let me tell you, I was with a comic that will remain nameless, and I was a feature for him. This is when I first started. I remember he told me in the green room, because I came from the Joe Coy camp where I just went on tour with him, and Joe Coy meet everybody. This was like 11 years ago, 10 years ago. He met everybody, and then I'm with this other comic, and I'll never forget it. We're at Stand Up Live, and I go, hey, are you going to meet people after the show? Do you mind if I do? He says, you can, but I'm not. That's not my thing. I don't care about the people. I care about the respect of other comedians. And I go, you're going to be very, very broke, in my mind, and he's still around, but he still hasn't reached a certain, that next level. I wouldn't even say to the level of you and I. He hasn't reached that level, but he's still a headliner. You know what I mean? And I just thought that style of thinking, and maybe that was 10 years ago, that was more of that style of thinking. But I just feel like the people are what make you who you are, and you got to show them some respect, because now they will not come after you, but they really want you to respect them if they're paying money.
I mean, also, like, the regular people, for the most part, they don't really care about this thing that we care about.
They don't. They could care less.
Yeah, they could care less. They don't care. Like, they just want things to be entertaining and whatever. They, even if, no matter what it is, they don't care. Like, this whole idea that, like, we think that the crowds respect the art form of comedy is a joke. It's such a joke. They don't care about this. It's just for the most part. I mean, there are people that, like, are purists, but I just think for the most part, nobody's in there like, oh, wow, the way he constructed that joke. I mean, it's like they don't care. They don't care. They're there to have a good time. They want to be entertained. That's some nonsense we care about.
No, it's so true. Now, let me ask you, how's Bobby Lee?
He's fine. I just went to dinner with him last night after the Comedy Store. Yeah, Bobby's fine. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for anybody else, but I think they, whatever. I mean, I think that they have their personal business out in public too much. I think it's too much of their business is out, and not enough of it for people to really understand the whole nature of it, so there's just enough out there for people to think, well, I totally get what's going on here, and I don't, so it is what
what's crazy to me, if it was
up to me, I wouldn't like that Tiger Belly episode with Brendan Schaub. I never would have put that out in public. Never. That was not a good look for anybody. There is not a person that could watch that episode and think, everybody on this screen is a good person. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, that should not have been out for public consumption, but that's how they live their lives. They wanted to be like that. They thought it was necessary, but I cringed the whole time.
Like I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I just heard about the controversy. Actually, I heard about it from you because I saw you post it. I think you did a podcast about it or something.
Yeah, because you know why? At first I was worried about it because people kept attacking me. Because I'm on King and the Sting,
Yeah.
So I do that podcast, and then people are attacking me. You have to pick sides. And I thought to myself, being a people pleaser, you think I have to explain myself to these trolls. And then now I'm at a point where I'm like, I'm at a it's none of your business. I don't it's none of your business. You know what I mean? I have my own thing. I know what I know, and if they're dealing with their thing and it has nothing to do with me. I have my friendships with who I have my friendships with. I would say I'm closer with Bobby because I've known him longer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but they've dealt with that, and I'm letting them do that. So it's like, it is what it is. I don't
weird, but let me ask you, and this is not about that. Is it weird for you to be in the middle of both of them?
Well, the thing is, I'm not in the middle. People, they say you're in the middle just because you're associated with these two people, but it is what it is. It's like, what are you supposed to do? They're dealing with this really complicated, nuanced situation that's not just one thing.
Yeah,
it's a bunch of series of events that happened that's all connected, and then they have this fight about this thing, and it's just like, what are you supposed to do? So it's, for me, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm going to be like, I'm disassociating myself with one or the other. I mean, it's all stupid to me.
No, it is.
I'm just like, whatever. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm really at a point now where it's just like, I don't care now what the loud minority thinks.
Has the King and Sting
and the Wing now.
And Wing, that's with D'Elia, Job, and Theo Von. Big shout outs to Theo Von. He was one of the first people to take me out. I'll never forget it. We went to, what was that club? Comedy on State in Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, that's a great club.
Oh, and the sisters run it. They're great.
Yeah,
and I remember
they actually renovated. I just went there.
Did they really?
Yeah, it's renovated. It's really nice now.
Oh man,
it was nice before, but it's really nice now.
They were great back then. And Theo, I remember before Joe Coy took me out, Theo took me out to my first time ever to that club, and that was such a great experience. So shout out to him. But have you seen your audience grow, or a different audience actually discover you from that podcast?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, people are coming and they're being like, "Hey, like you on the Copcast," but it's a slow build. You know what I mean? The thing for me is like, that's the thing for me is like, I just want people to come watch me do comedy. It's like, I don't know, like other people who I would say aren't as funny as me. I can say that confidently because I'm not, saying ain't no slide on anybody else. I'm just really good. They got more people coming to watch them. So I'm trying to figure out, like, what do I got to do in terms of like the marketing, podcasting, pushing, even getting more people to watch my podcast. So that's what I'm working on this year. That's my goal as I'm, is to like really push myself forward, because I just get tired of people coming to my show and then being like, "Oh man, you're really funny." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I wish you would have come, before."
No,
you know what I mean?
It's a very, very weird game right now. Like to the social media, because when I'm gonna go back to my special, but when it came out, I had 3,000 followers on YouTube. Now I have 80,000.
Yeah.
For some reason, it hit a nerve, and the clips hit a nerve. So I think it's just throwing out. What I do is just throw out something every day. And
it's a whole new game, man.
A whole new
game. So yeah.
And some people are just doing like crowd work. And then I'm hearing like, it builds up your social media. But now I've heard from some of the comics that do it. Now when they go do a show, everybody's yelling at them to try to get on a clip. So it's a very weird thing that's going on in comedy right now.
I know. It's like the whole thing is to try to, it's like people are just like, how can I get a crowd? I'm starting to think now it's just like, you do your stand-up and stop having this idea that I got to save this for a special.
No.
As opposed to like, here's a good chunk of 10, let me put that out. Here's another chunk of 10, let me put that out. Whatever the thing might be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my thing is putting out a new 30 every year. And if you ain't gonna give me a sitcom, I'm gonna make my own sitcom. Yeah. So there you go. So are you on the road right now a lot, or what?
It's just like, it's sporadic. You know what I mean? Sometimes it'll be like, at the minimum once a month.
Okay, got you. What really has you irked right now? Anything in the world that has you really irked that gets you fired up?
I mean, there's so many things, man. It's like this Amber Heard trial, this Amber Heard and what you call it. See, that reminds me of the Bobby and that stuff, the drama. It's like
Yeah,
that's some business that should not be out in the streets. But you know what?
100%.
You know what's the crazy part about this? If Johnny Depp and Amber Heard signed on to do a reality show,
Oh my goodness, that would be the most watched reality show
there
ever.
would be like all the money they lost, all
Oh.
this. And that's the crazy world that we live in right now.
And it would be on Hulu.
It would be on Hulu. Yeah, it would just
It would be amazing. I mean, who wouldn't pay top dollar for that?
Yeah, you know,
To watch that mess.
yeah.
Oh my goodness, that is such a great idea, and that's a way they both can be on
They
camera.
could
and
both
make a
win.
lot of
You know,
money.
if they wanted to, they could both win. Well, who wouldn't watch that? You know, them trying to work it out. Oh my God. Because like to me, I think they having sex right now.
No.
Yeah, man. I think I would not have been surprised if they like caught each other in the hallway, you know, and just remembered and all that passion, all that hate, all that stuff, man. You know how easy it is.
I think there's too much hate now. It's just too much.
I don't know, man. I
you
would
ruined
not
it.
be. I would not be surprised if they smashed in the bathroom.
No.
I would not be surprised, man. I just wouldn't be surprised if it's just like one last, you know,
One last time.
he remembered, she
hit.
rememred. She was like, I can't believe you're doing this to me. I hate you. You know, and he's like, I hate you too. You know, and then all of a sudden, you know what I mean?
This ain't a movie, man. Like
Yeah.
that's
I don't know,
all
dude.
movie.
I just think that like what I'm saying is like not everything should be in the public.
No, 100. And we
you know,
both we are
And
both,
it's like I think whoever originally took her story and put it out, they're wrong because they did that for clicks
Yeah.
and whatever. And then this sort of like, you know, this like loud minority of people who are like always attacking everyone with this wokeness and all that. It's not everyone. It's really a small group of people that are like, you know, so then Hollywood's like, well, we have to kowtow to them. So Johnny Depp, you're out of here. You know what I mean? They made this choice. And now
but I think Johnny Depp makes a comeback. I think they're going to hire him after this. He's not canceled.
But that's the thing that the women activists are actually saying is the issue. So even if you say like, oh, you ruined a man's career, they go, no, we didn't. So he doesn't do movies for a little while. He'll be back like every other man. So that's part of the justice of like, is there an injustice there? I think what got us as men, we're looking at this and we're saying, because we're thinking to ourselves, you know, man, what if that happened to me?
Yeah.
My little bit of money I have, I couldn't afford, you know, but these big time, whatever people, they're looking at someone like Louis, right? They're looking at Louis C.K. and they're being like, oh yeah. Okay, so 5 years ago, he got canceled and he just won a Grammy.
That was crazy.
So they're saying, see, y'all don't get canceled. So it's like, so yeah, I get it too. So I just go, oh yeah.
But it depends. It depends. I really believe it depends with profession though. Like Louis C.K. was such on a level where look, I'll put it like this. Rich people can't get canceled because they always, or people with dedicated fan bases can't get canceled. I can get canceled. You can get canceled right now, you know, but once you rich and you don't really like Louis C.K., he could have performed the day after he got canceled and he would have had 1,000 people show up and made money. You know what I mean? So if you have that audience, like you can't cancel Joe Rogan, no matter how you can't, his audience is too strong. That just makes him stronger and more people listen to him because they want to hear what he has to say about getting
that's
canceled.
exactly actually what happened to him with all this.
Yeah.
You know, that's like it was like his subscriber base went up a few million.
Because first of all, a lot of people started listening to him or new people because they want to see what he had to say. And then a lot of people just tired of it. You know, it's like, look,
I think so too. I think that there's a certain level of like, well, I think there's a certain level of lack of common sense when you hear somebody get upset about something. Like there's no nuance to anything anymore. And I think people are just kind of being like, oh, you know, but you know, I just think that there's like, you know, when it comes to like when things happen between a man and a woman, and then the perception of it is changed later, because I think that's what happens a lot of times too. And this just has to go back to family values, and it goes back to like, you know, because like if two people go out, they don't really know each other. Like remember that baseball player that he got with the girl, and they were both into like, you know, tying like masochistic type stuff, you know. And then it got out of hand and he punched her because that's what she said she wanted. And then it's like, later she was like, he hit me and all this kind of stuff. I had talked about this before, but the thing is, that's an example of two people that don't really know each other, that met on the internet, had a different perception of what happened, what they was going to happen, and they did some intimate stuff without really trusting each other, So then later when it comes out, however you say it, you can make it seem like this dude's a terrible person, and she's this victim. That's how you can say it later. But what really happened to me is that two people that don't know each other wanted to do something that they probably really didn't want to do
and didn't talk about
it fully enough, didn't have like boundaries and set like rules and like, because I don't mind two people getting together and doing some freaky shit. That's up to y'all. But like, don't come out later and be like, oh, well, it went too far. Well, it went too far because, like he was dumb. He's a freaking professional athlete. What are you doing? Like you can't punch a chick because it's not like you're like
you have better common sense.
Yeah, you're not 5'5", 106 pounds. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not what and then her too. You don't tell a professional athlete to hit you.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think was going to happen?
I don't know the case, but I would love to like read. So what happened? Do you know what happened?
I think it kind of went away from the big public eye, but like, I'm not sure how that turned out, but I'm pretty sure when it got into the weeds, cause he had text messages from her. He had they already met a couple times. What I'm saying is that's an example of where like, you get together and the perception of it later is something different. And I think that's what happens a lot of times in some of these situations. You hear about a girl, I went out with this guy and he made me uncomfortable. And it's just like, oh, so you went out with a guy you don't really know. Y'all maybe texted and had some like flirty things going on. And then when it got time to be there, some things happened and maybe the woman was uncomfortable, didn't know how to say, I don't really want to see your dick right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or whatever, however the nuance of the situation happened. Later, you could tell the story however you want, and the perception of it can be really bad, because there are situations too where it'd be like, oh, because it could also be like this. He thought I was into this because of how we were talking, and I wasn't, And it's just like, we're not, but a woman is so uncomfortable by this big man, like Dak Shepard said it best, like, well, we don't understand. It's like being in an elevator with a gorilla. Like, we don't know we can't just be like, hey, gorillas don't do that. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is like, again, it's just like the perception of a situation could be said, the just little details of a situation later can make it seem terrible.
Yeah.
On either side,
100%.
That's all I'm saying is like the details of a situation, just one little detail can make a situation like, and it's like, and I've been in that situation where like before I'm single, you go out with somebody, and then like, you thinking, oh, we were vibing. This went great, and then later, the woman might say like, well, I didn't really want to kiss you, or I didn't want to, you got, wait, what? You know what I mean? Like, you have a whole different perception, depending you know what I mean?
I'll make it very simple. A very simple example that kind of reinforces everything. And this is on both sides. If a guy goes on a date and texts a girl early in the morning, wow, I had an amazing time. Can't wait to see you again. Let's say that's the text.
Yeah.
If she likes him, she's like, oh my God, he's so sweet. He texted me in the morning. If she doesn't like him, he's a stalker. He's already hitting me up. What's going on?
Oh my God, I just woke up and he's already hitting me up,
So it's funny how, and this is vice versa.
Both sides. Yeah, both ways. Sides.
So this is how just the text. If you like them, you're like, it's the sweetest thing. If you don't like them or didn't like the date, you're like, oh my God, this is the stalker.
I remember I had this situation where it was like, this girl, I gave her my number. I was like, well, yeah, hit me up, And then like, it was like time later. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And then I get a text from someone, I don't know who it is. And I'm saying like, hey, what's up? Who is this? Hello. And I sent like 5 or 6 messages like, what's going on? That girl later, so I'm not going to say the situation or where it was.
No, yeah.
And she's like, I was harassing her. Okay. And then like,
Wow.
okay, oh, he was harassing me. So a person that approached me about it, hey, Erik, you're harassing. And I go, what are you talking about? And then she was like, yeah, you guys were texting. I was like, oh. And then I showed the person the text. I go, look, I don't know who this is. This person just said hello. And I'm texting back like 8 times, like, who are you? Hey, what's up? I don't know. Hello, what's going on? I was so mad. Like I was furious.
Was it a comic?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
It's around the comedy world, okay, but it wasn't a comic.
Gotcha.
But the point is, it made me so mad because it was like that's an example of how perception. So now this person could tell that story. This guy was he was just I texted him one time and then he just harassed me, right? And it's like, so she could write an article. I was harassed by Erik Griffin by text and blah, blah, blah. And then like everybody goes, well, it must be true. It's got to be true, right? No,
I hope you screenshotted that.
There's details, and it was a while ago. It doesn't matter. It's already over. It's details and context to everything. And the problem is like the public, they don't care.
And you could, and I hate that I even have to say this because people can take anything out of context. We are talking about both sides here. Both sides.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like,
but that's the problem that I have to say that every couple of minutes, so somebody can't be like, well, they're just jumping on women. No, I'm talking men too. But I will. And by
the way, we're also men.
Yeah.
So we're thinking about ourselves. You know what I mean? In the same way that you are, if you're a woman listening.
So I want to.
So it's like, hey, is it okay that like I'm thinking about like how this affects me and how I'm looked at? Because you know what I mean? Like it's like I'm not. It's not disparaging of women. It's not, and we're just saying like, yo, this is a tough.
It's
situation.
no different. It's no different than a couple of female comedians getting together and talking about their views because they're talking about it.
It doesn't matter when they do that. It's just like on stage. A female comic can go on stage and bash men for 20 minutes. Like I'm talking about, all their little dicks and blah, blah, blah. And they can say whatever they want. We go up and just make one joke. Now I hate women. You know what I mean? Like it's like the double standard. You know what?
It is a double standard, but it's the type of thing where it goes both ways. You know what I mean? Like we could say things that we could bash certain topics and it's fine, and then women try to bash it and it's not. I mean, that goes both ways. But I wanted to talk about how people perceive things differently, or you could actually hurt somebody and it wasn't even intended for them.
That's another thing too. That's perfect. That's exactly in that situation.
So let me tell you what happened to me. I was in a meeting. This is when I worked for another company. I was in a meeting, and this is my staff meeting where we have ideas, and we're in a closed room, right? We're in our conference room, and we're talking about ideas for a show. And somebody that walked by heard something they didn't like.
Oh, it was like Three's. It was like Three's Company. So you had a Three's Company situation.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Mr. Roper heard something that Chrissy and Jack were talking about, and he was like, "Oh no, what are they doing in there?"
So this was a private conversation, and we were spitballing ideas. Couple comedians in the room. Nothing was mean. Nothing was hard. It was just they didn't like one of the topics we were laughing about and talking about in a closed room, and they happened to walk by and overheard. So they report that to HR. So now I'm sitting with HR and they're like, we can't say who it is, but you offended someone. I go, oh, I'm so sorry I offended someone in the room because I thought they were on board. They go, no, this was a person that wasn't in the room. They walked by. And I was like, have we come to this point where this was years ago. This is not recently, but this is probably like 5 years ago when everything was starting. I go, have we come to a point where I can't even have a conversation in a private room, not even intended for the person walking by? This is a private staff meeting, And now I got to worry about people walking by that might hear something that they don't like. And now I'm in HR. And it was just the most ridiculous thing that has ever happened to me in that situation. And it wasn't even mean spirited. It was just a topic they didn't like.
The thing that I find, here's the thing I find wrong with all that right there. It's like, who's at fault here? And I think when I hear that situation, this reminds me of like when you're a kid and you do some stuff, and the teacher calls your parent, and the parent comes. And now, how does the parent handle this? Does the parent go, well, my son would never do stuff like that? That's new school. Yeah. Old school is. So what happened here?
Yep.
So what happened here? Yeah. My mom would be like, what did you do? What? Because the teacher, who is the authority figure, is saying something. Tell me exactly how this went about. Like, there's no, like, to me, the HR should have been like, so let me hear exactly what happened. So you heard people, and this is an entertainment company, obviously, right? Yeah. So you heard something. It's like, okay, so it's like that's when it's like you have an HR. So to me, HR should have been like, okay, overall staff meeting in the building, everybody come into the room. Okay, so we are an entertainment company, and entertainment shit is going on in room. And they are talking about stuff. You might swing by and hear some stuff, and you're hearing it out of context. So maybe, you know what I mean? Like, it's like the fact that person was allowed to like disrupt the world with their, that's the issue is, to me, the issue there is how that company deals with situations.
100%. 100%.
And that's what's wrong there, right there. You know what I mean? Because like that, I can't, because it would be like, if you're someone like that, that means you couldn't walk by any HR meeting. So what if you're in an HR meeting and the HR person says, you said, and they say the thing, and then someone's walking by and hears that, then that person goes, oh, I was offended by what I heard in this, in this room. And then it just goes, it's a vicious circle, because then that person has to go to HR and be like, yeah, I'm reporting you to you about what you, and they go, well, wait a minute, I was just discussing, so like context matters.
Yes.
Context and details matter. Like, it's like there's like no common sense there. And so this is one of these things where the person's not wrong. They felt offended. And it's like, and there's nothing in someone to think, well, I wonder what's going on here. I wonder why they're saying that. There's nothing in their brain that makes them think, could there be a context for this?
Or this isn't even for you. We're in a meeting, a private meeting. You're eavesdropping.
But here's the thing, though. See, I don't necessarily think that that's an excusable offense, because let's say there's a private boardroom meeting going on of a bunch of white executives, and they're in there talking about like, well, all these we got working here, and somebody hears that, they can't use that as an excuse later to be like, we were having a private meeting, and that was like, so you can't use that as an excuse. But what I am saying is, like, the person that hears that, if it's me walking by and hearing that, it might be like, oof, what's going on in there? You know what I mean? And it's like, so now what do I do with this information? It's like, what do you do? How, you know what I mean? So like,
and what the person does with it when they get it.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's similar situations, like it's like exactly same situations. It's just like, that's why the context of it matters. Yeah. You know what I mean? It does matter. So I'm not faulting the person who got offended. I'm not, because I get it. But the people that handle this information, how they handle it, like removing Johnny Depp from movies.
Yeah.
It's those type of choices. That's where that person has to have the common sense. Those are the people that have to make the choices, so we can know, because now that sets the tone where now people just can be walking down the hallway of that place like, I might hear something. Ooh, might hear something. And then it's like, is that right?
But see, I disagree with you on the, like I don't agree the person should have been offended when it wasn't even for them. When it was topics we were throwing. You know
No,
what?
but I'm
You
saying
know
is they
why? You
don't
know
know
why?
that. They
You know
don't know
why?
that.
No. Well, they do know that because they were like a supervisor. So they did know that. They did know that. They knew they hired me to go over topics in a room. We're in a meeting. So there's topics coming in. Staff is throwing out topics. We're talking about everything, crazy stories, this story, a news story. You know, that was our job. So we are doing our job in that room. And for you to get offended by us doing our job, which was my job to handle all these different topics, that to me, that's
I understand
especially
what you're
when you're
saying
in a
because you're
person of
giving. I'm saying you're giving more context to the situation. So the context is you're saying that this person should have known better.
Oh,
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
They
So
were doing it in spite. That's
okay.
what
Well,
they
see,
were.
this is what I'm saying. And this is why what I'm saying is either way, I'm fine with that person truly being offended. And then now, if we're saying that person did it for spite, two different things that could be true. That's why HR is the person that has to handle that with some fucking common sense.
Yeah.
You know, that's the part that pisses me off. It's the people that make the choices. They need to use some common sense. And if they don't, then they're succumbing to terrorism.
Yeah. You know, so I got to tell everybody what was the solution we came up to. I had to do my meetings outside the building.
What?
Like yeah. I mean, we had there was places around the building where you could do it that's easy to get to, but it was kind of like this person might be looking for more stuff. So why don't you so I'm moving the whole show to another part of the building so they won't hear any. Like I got to the point where I was telling HR, I go, look, if I got to watch out for what everybody will hear, then I don't want to, I don't want to do it in the building. We'll just do it downstairs. But the problem is somebody could walk downstairs. You know, it was this whole thing. But
that sounds like a terrible situation. So, like, again, I wish HR would have had a talk with that person.
Yeah. And they talked to me, and I'm sure they talked with that person. And it's kind of like, well, he's not going to have his meetings in there anymore. And the same thing that she got offended for, we talked about on the radio. Like that was the topic that day because I didn't know she got offended about it. And we took phone calls about it. It was very hot in the news at that time.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
It is what it is, you know? I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like the person in charge, you know what I mean? The person in charge, you know, has to show some decorum, some common sense, take into context and the details. And if not, then that it empowers people who are spiteful to because they can say whatever they want.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you a candles guy? Like candles in your house?
Yeah, I like a good candle.
Did you hear about that Shake Shack candle that just came out?
No.
Shake Shack just released
2
Shake Shack, the burger spot.
Oh, it smells like burger?
It smells like burgers. One's is called Burger in the Park, and the other one's called Burger and Fries.
Feels like a fat person thing.
Guess how much they cost? They cost $42 for the pair. I was like, who would buy something where constantly you getting hungry? Like that's ridiculous. I would never buy something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's something for everyone, man.
I can't imagine a person just wanting that smell in their house.
Well, I mean, I can imagine it.
Really?
Yeah, let's say you're a fat person that's trying to lose I'm just saying you're fat, you're trying to lose a lot of weight. And so instead of having the food in the house, you have the smell. So anytime you like feeling a certain way, you know, you light that candle, then you eat a carrot at the same time. So, you know, you're just like, oh, and then, you know, you take it in the smell, you know, could be that. Somebody just like trying to, you know, use some self-control. I don't know.
Well, on that note, what do you promote? You got anything to promote?
Let's see. Where am I going to be?
Give me the Erik Griffin schedule.
I'm going to be, I'm at the Arlington Improv.
You know? Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I will be at the Arlington Improv. Wait, let me see if let me get my schedule up.
And while you're looking up your schedule, I will be in Baltimore. Magoobies, I think I'm gonna be at. I've never been there.
Oh, you know what? Here we go.
There we go. Yeah, okay, let's talk about Erik Griffin.
But I'm at the Arlington Improv 26th through the 29th. Then I'm on the Comedy Off Broadway in Lexington, Kentucky, June 2nd to the 4th.
You sit there. I need to get on your level with the graphics. That's a green screen behind. I need to get on the Erik Griffin level. You know, you're making my podcast look bad, Erik, with your lighting, with your backgrounds, with your little pop-ups.
And one time, shout out to my girl.
All right, man. Well, you know I love you, and I can't wait to go to LA to see you soon.
Yeah, man. We got to link up. So, I just hit up. I'd hit up the seller in New York to let them know, like, hey, man, I'm available to go to Vegas too sometimes.
Oh, you hit up Esty?
Yeah, because when I go to New York, I mean, I got a great in when I was there because I did a Ray Romano movie.
Oh yeah, that's right. And he was performing up there, and you did.
Yeah, and so I just went in with him. It was like walking in with John Gotti. You know what I mean? And he, and she was like, "Oh, okay," and I just had to go up and smash that room, like acting like I'm not funny. Are you kidding me?
I would love to hang out with you in Vegas for a week, man. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so we'll work it out. But anyways, man, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on, and like always, check out Erik Griffin, and everything for me is at Michael Yo. Subscribe, hit that like button, it helps out, man. I'll see you next time, bro.
Yeah, man.